Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at some r/Am I the Devil? I do really like this one. I love that we can just come here and collect board holes. You know, it's kind of nice sometimes. Instead of having like, no, you're not the butthole. You are totally in the right. Just seeing some downright idiots get blasted on the internet, you know? So, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in today, then do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay, first post, and the person who has shared this says he told his whole family same day. Can't wait to get into this one. I'm sure this guy did nothing wrong. So, the title for this post is Am I the Butthole for refusing to accept that my wife actually wants a divorce after I said we're separating 4 months ago? Hold on a minute. So, you effed around and found out is what I'm getting just from the title. Like, what? My wife, 30F, and I, 33M, have been married for almost 10 years. We have 2 kids, 5F and 3M. I own a restaurant in our city, and she is an elementary school teacher. 4 months ago, we had a very explosive argument that ended in me saying that we should separate. I told my family that we are separating that day, and then she would not let me in our house. I'm confused as to why you would be surprised by that. I have had to live with my parents and she will barely let me see my kids. I have tried to be more involved with helping the kids with bedtime and such when she will let me, but she is so cold to me and doesn't seem to want me around. Everybody whip out your tiny violins, I think we're going to need them. I have been begging her for us to go to a couples therapist, but she doesn't seem to want to at all. I want to work on our marriage and she doesn't. I am concerned by the fact that this guy has said that the argument they had was very explosive and now she doesn't really want to be around him or let him in the house. By very explosive, would I be wrong in reading into that he got overly aggressive? And this would fully explain why she doesn't give a damn anymore. Also, you said you were separating. Don't say things you do not mean, because it will bite you in the butt, mate. Fast forward to now, she wants a divorce. She has a lawyer and told me that I should get one. She says I've not been a good partner to her for years. She said she is so tired of doing everything in the house and with the kids, but she chose that. She is only a part-time teacher working half a day. And I run a whole business by myself, so she is working. So you should be taking on some of the family load. I mean, even if she was at home all the time and you were working full time, you should still take on a bit of the family load, you know, to not be an asshat. What? Why is he surprised she wants a divorce exactly? I have a very demanding job that can end up having long hours. It is a small business, so I have lots of tasks and it is demanding and exhausting. So I usually just get home and shower and go to sleep as I have to get up at 4 a.m. the next day. I am working so hard to provide for my family and now the whole thing is falling apart. I love my family and I don't want my kids to go through their parents divorcing. I want her to... Cheeky little get. I want her to put effort in. Excuse you? And go to therapy and work together so our marriage doesn't fail. So am I the butthole? Yeah, you are. Like, what? I'm sorry, but I completely get if one parent is a stay-at-home parent and the other parent works full-time, brings in all the money. I completely get that the stay-at-home parent would be doing the majority of the stuff around the house. But she didn't make those kids by her damn self. So you should be putting in effort with the kids. You come home, you have a shower, you eat, you go to bed. And I'll bet you any money he spends about 30 minutes having a poo scroll as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you surprised she doesn't want you? I wouldn't want you. Like, ew, no. If I'm going to have the life of a single woman, I will be a single woman without an extra human adult child to look after. And it sounds like, by the OP's own admission, they have put no emotional labour into this marriage. Like, again, going home, eating, sleeping, having a shower, made no mention of playing with the kids, made no mention of spending a little bit of time with the wife. Like, what is actually the point of a marriage if you don't see each other? You know? What's the point? Like, am I not like seeing something here? Because this guy seems just so up himself and so self-involved. Like, he doesn't care about anything else as long as it's his way. And now he's like, oh, what? You don't want me anymore? This came out of nowhere. I'll bet she's been saying for years that she's fed up. And I'll bet even that that's what that argument was about. Friday Enjoyer says, how interesting that he never specifies what triggered the explosive argument was. I know, right? Yeah. And then First Place Ace said, he said in the comments he wanted a short holiday for the kids and she didn't. It's assumed she didn't want to do all the childcare in a different place and deal with the consequences to their routine. Absolutely fair if she's doing all of the flaming work with the kids. Some Air 5892 says, I don't even have kids, and just the idea of having to plan out things like packing, hacking up everything small kids need, carrying all of that crap around, dealing with meltdowns during travel, and strangers being mad about it. Meltdowns because you can't stick to their routines or eating preferences, etc. That sounds awful. It is. Next post, and the way that the person who has reshared this has said, in quotation marks, I want to mould young women like toys, is not instilling all the faith that this will be a nice story into me, I must say. So this one was titled, Why are people on Reddit so obsessed with policing age gap in relationships? For fuck's sake, not another one of these. These dudes that are obsessed with age gap relationships are creepy. It's different if you like fall in love with someone by accident at work who happens to be, you know, a decent bit older than you, but you are already an adult and you are already like 25 and this guy's like 40 and yeah, it's quite an age gap and I wouldn't, but that's different. But these guys who only go for age gap relationships, like that's all they want, that's creepy. Actively seeking it. Creepy. Stop it. No. Get in the pedo corner. I don't get it. Every time I ask something, 90% of the answers would be attacking age gap of my preference relationships without answering my questions. And I'm not even old. Just turned 31 last month. I mean, you don't have to be old to be a predator, my love. This sub is obviously better than others, except when it gets brigaded. This was off like a blokes only sub, by the way. I just want to preface that, which is why I only mentioned guys going after age gap relationships. I'm sure there are some women that do it too, and that is also yuck. But even here, there are quite a lot of people obsessed with attacking perceived age gap in relationships. I feel like there's a big disconnect between Reddit and real life because I've never met anyone in real life who criticised me for dating age. I thought that said age 8 to 10 then. I was about to flip the F out. For dating girls 8 to 10 years younger. I often feel like Reddit, like all social media, is a hive mind, echo chamber, completely disconnected from reality. Now, the problem is that people in real life probably think you're disgusting too for only seeking out age gap relationships. They just don't tell you. Because unfortunately, not many people have the balls to say in real life, which is why when it's on the internet, people are a bit more brave because they're hidden behind a keyboard. I personally would have no problem with telling this guy he's a creep. To his face, looking right in his pupils. It's 2025. Same-sex marriage is legal and widely accepted. No. We're not going to compare being a predator to being in the LGBTQ. We're not going to do that because that is nowhere near the same. All kinds of fetishes and quinks, including age-related ones like MILF, are celebrated. No, they're not. People think all the guys that go for MILFs are weird and all. Like, what are you on about? Yet the most normal, biologically driven attraction, fertile girls in their early 20s with prominent fertility traits such as big bobbles, wide hips, etc. is stigmatized and apparently creepy and unacceptable. The reason it's creepy is because that is something that you are specifically striving for. If you met someone and you both fell in love and you are adults, it's like, you're adults. People will have something to say about it, but it's not creepy in that sense. I mean, I still find some age gaps uncomfortable, to be quite honest. I think it depends. If you're like a 30-year-old and a 40-year-old, way less creepy, you know? You've both have a lot of lived experience by that point. Live and let live. Stop infantilizing consenting adults and telling people who they can or can't be attracted to. No one's telling you who you can or can't be. We're just telling you it's creepy to actively seek that out and only want that. It's predatory because you want someone who hasn't had lived life experience, and it's weird. Like I wrote in my comments, almost every celebrities, prominent athletes, movie stars and influencers, men with the most options, clout and access to girls, are in age gap relationships, and everyone says it's weird. Have you not heard the rhetoric around bloody Leonardo DiCaprio? Everyone says he's a creep. Normies either marry, commit early, or don't have access, clout to chase after the most coveted girls. Even startup founders, corporate law firm partners, hedge fund managers, etc. rarely have the opportunity to interact with pretty girls after college or graduation. It's almost like you have to have a personality to woo someone. Who'd have thought? It doesn't mean we stop being attracted to them. Yes, well, I think bees look absolutely lovely, and a bumblebee, they've got the cutest, fluffiest little butts. Doesn't mean I'm going to go stroke them though, does it? Sunny D1880 says, why are people on Reddit so obsessed with policing age gap relationships? This is why. It's him. Yes, exactly. Season Positive 6771 says, I've had almost this exact conversation in that sub before. I turned it around and asked if it would be creepy if a woman in her 30s or 40s was pursuing younger men in their teens. Multiple men said it was gross and creepy and unnatural, and a woman would be preying on them because men are too young at that age and should know what they're getting into, but somehow women are different and it's not predatory but natural. I fell out of a trolley in my early 20s because I was drunk and thought it was a good idea. Women are not more mentally mature at that age. We all still have a lot of growth to do in our early 20s, mentally. It was truly disgusting how many men were chiming in to say it's fine as long as she's legal. It is disgusting. Oh, and by the way, that trolley incident wound me up in the hospital with ripped arm muscles, so yeah. No, this is gross. It's the fact that, again, age gap relationships, they stand on a thin line, you know, in any case. However, if it's two, again, 30, 40-year-old or a 30 and a 50-year-old, they've had life experience, the 30-year-old, it's not so bad. It's when you're purposefully going after people who haven't had the lived experience. It becomes gross and predatory. You're after somebody, like the title of this said, who by the person who shared it, someone who you think is more moldable and easier manipulated. And it's weird. By the way, whenever I do a video that talks about like men being weird or creepy, like after younger girls or something like that, or when I did Nice Guys, they get like multiple dislikes. And I think it's so funny because, you know, there's some angry little incel behind the screen like, no, I don't like this. You're just speaking the truth and it offends me. Anyway, I just thought that was quite funny. Next one says, why is she angry? With a for goodness sake kind of emoji. So this one's title says, my girlfriend 27F got angry at me, 33M, for having a food coma. My 27F girlfriend and I, 33M, were planning on going to the national park together. Before she arrived, I had a large lunch with a friend and felt super sluggish with a food coma. I told her I might need her to drive at first, or that I needed to nap for a few minutes. She got noticeably upset, saying things like, you invited me, and I told you this would happen. I then got frustrated and started asking why she couldn't be more flexible. She was extremely upset at one point, saying she drove all the way, and so I suggested we not go on the trip. She then took her belongings and drove back home. Okay, let's put our bets in now. Who here bets that this guy does this all the flipping time? I had an ex like this. It was so frustrating. I tried calling her 3 times, but she didn't pick up once. She has just wrote me text saying that she can't talk right now and how upset and hurt she is. In her mind, it's like I rejected her or something. She then proposed meeting to talk in person instead, but it will be 5 days since the event. This isn't the first time something small has triggered a strong reaction. Oh, you poor oblivious idiot. Followed by emotional withdrawal. Is this normal relationship conflict or a bigger red flag? Let's read between the lines, shall we? I am willing to put good money on it that he has done this many times before, planned to do something with her, then gone and done something beforehand, or go with his friends, or he's turned up late, and he's now wondering why she's acting like this. Purely, and we have a hint here, because she says, I told you this would happen. So she knew that he was likely to do something like this, because he's done it before. That would be my guess anyway. Feel free to tell me if you reckon different. I think it's that though, personally. Then down in the comments, Necessary Captain 3656 says, what a misleading title. He knows very well that she isn't angry because of the food coma. What a D. Exactly. And then ArkLV Pestrum says, it's the whole my partner wants a divorce because I forgot to unload the dishwasher thing that OP is calling a small issue is part of a consistent pattern of neglect and a lack of consideration for their partner. And the last minor blowout is actually the final straw for the poor woman. Bang on the money. And then Ninwa. Yep. I have no idea. Sounds like she is done. Like a, we are going to speak in person in a public space so I can break up properly situation. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't blame her. If this is a consistent pattern of behaviour where he's letting her down all the time when they've made plans already, bin him. Okay, I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you'd like to give a little like and subscribe, I'd appreciate you even more. That would be great. Thank you very much, please. Hope you find your way back here for more of my incessant ramblings, and who wouldn't want that? Anyway, I hope you have a really good rest of your day, whatever it is you are doing today. Goodbye.